Hey guys, welcome back to another SorareStrats video. I am GW. Firstly, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. We're now in that kind of weird in-between Christmas and New Year's part where you don't really know what day it is. It's actually, this period is actually called Twixmas. I don't know if you know that. I did this kind of work quiz and that came up. So yeah, Merry Twixmas if you are watching. So in this video, we're going to be doing a review of 2024 in terms of how Sorare performed. I'm going to be looking at the goods, the bads, and what maybe they could have implemented a little bit better. So we're going to have a little look at all of that. If you do like the video, then do obviously like the video, kind of makes sense. If you are new, can you please hit the subscribe button? Because I think only like 20% of the viewers were actually subscribers. So it'd be good if you could hit the subscribe, turn the notifications on for when I put out the videos. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So it was around this time last year that Nicholas, the head honcho of Sorare, put out the infamous tweet of "Stars will be stars." So at that point, the game was very different to what it was today. We had a lot of cap modes. We had the threshold, where if you hit a certain point level, you were guaranteed to get cash. And it was certainly like a game that was geared around trying to pick out the kind of mid-range players to try and hit those caps. So the biggest change that they made this year was to actually change, just basically scrap everything that had gone before and look at, well, how can we thrive in the future? That meant new season, in-season cards, firstly. So whereas before you could buy any player from any year and play in any competition, that wasn't really making Sorare money. So they've scrapped that and it's all about in-season. They really made it, in terms of Stars will be stars, there was no caps on these tournaments now. It was all about cash prizes, and you still had the classic to play your cards in. But it was a big restructuring of how Sorare works. And I know for a lot of people that didn't go down too well because they'd built their whole galleries around what the structure was. What I would say, in fairness to Sorare, they did give us like 6 months to kind of restructure. If you took advantage of that, then you could have got yourself into a very good position. Luckily for me, I only joined around the midpoint of 2023, so most of my gallery is Premier League anyway, so it didn't affect me too much. It probably benefited me more than anything, if I'm being honest, because now I'm not going against like K-League players for the top prizes.
Who the hell are you?
I could just focus on the Premier League competition. So it really does, in terms of how I would grade this restructuring, I will have to consider it from my own point of view, but also from the game's point of view. And I know everyone has their own opinion on it, and it will all be down to how it affected you, really. So I don't expect my grading to match everyone. I do like the new structure. I do think in terms of how it will help Sorare sustain profitability, making people have to buy new cards, it just makes sense. Like it's what they needed to do, really, and they did give us time to restructure. So the one thing I would say about it, it does make lineup building quite, not boring as such, but quite straightforward. You just put your best players in and on you go. There's not really much thinking about it, whereas I quite like the element of the cap modes where you had to really think, well, do I go for a big hitter with a few kind of medium range players, or do I go for a lot of kind of above average with no star? So what I would like, maybe when they do revamp, they said they will revamp in January going forward, I would like a permanent cap mode, because these specials, they don't do it for me. Like I don't really get excited for them. What I would like is a permanent all-star, a permanent cap 280 or cap 270, or even cap 250, just some kind of permanent cap mode, permanent all-star. Scrap these specials like flying gold and all that stuff, because let's be honest, do any of us really get that excited for them? No, we still focus on the other. That's always an afterthought. So let's get a permanent cap mode in where we can really use our mid-range players but still keep all the existing divisions, etc., and we'll go from there. Overall, I'm going to give the restructure a B. I think it's good, but could be better. One of the things that I was curious about, and a lot of people were curious about, was when it came to in-season, how they were going to actually structure this, because in previous seasons they never got the new cards out until like 4 or 5 weeks after the season had kicked off. So very curious how they were going to do that. The way they got over it was by releasing the cards in wrappers, which I thought, wow, this is kind of cool actually, because we had the whole unveiling process when the actual card launches happened. So we had the unveiling. The videos were really, really good. I really enjoyed that. They had the special editions. So how they overcame it with the keeping the cards in the wrappers, you only saw the name, but it didn't put people off. People spent a lot of money, and then when you could actually open them up, it brought a whole new level to the game, really, because it was all about, oh look, I've got a special edition, or is this going to affect my collection score and all that jazz. So I would say in terms of how they implemented that is a huge improvement, and they did it really, really well. I would say in terms of the wrappers for the pre unveiling, I'd give that an A. I think that's the perfect way that they did it, and in terms of the fact that you can actually open them up later down the line, that just makes it even more fun. So yeah, the card wrappers, we've also got them for Christmas as well, so everyone enjoys them. And the ceremony when they unveil them, the video, really, really well done. So I'd give the card wrappers an A. Card designs, well, I think this was pretty unanimous. The card designs are absolutely wonderful this year. They just pop really well. We've got the animated, and when they unveiled those animated ones, wow, like that was so good, and they still look crazy today. And I think every year Sorare do step up. If we go like back to the first generation of cards, just the big heads, I think they're the first generation. I wasn't here at that time, but I think they're the first generation, and they've just got better year on year. This year, I think they've hit it out of the park. Does it do anything in terms of like the game itself? Not really, no, but it's always nice to have something that looks good. And as we've seen from the Christmas promotion, people like getting new cards, new designs, things like that. So yeah, overall, I would say this is a comfortable, I'll give them an A for card designs. How Sorare have managed like the different scarcities, I can only really talk from a limited and rare user, which is what I only play. And I think in terms of what they've done with the prize pools, I think they're very fair. In fact, they're in limited very, very generous. If you're in Division 1 and you win, you get $1,500, which I don't care what team you put together, you're not gonna be spending that much to put that team together. So the fact that you could win probably like 4 or 5 times your outlay in one game week, that's crazy. That's crazy good. That is really, really positive. And I think that they're trying to attract almost a little bit that jackpot element. I was fortunate enough to come second in Division 1, which was great. I recouped everything I put in. But when it comes to like the super rares and the uniques, I can't really comment, but I'm not blind to what I see on Twitter and or X, as you call it, and it seems that a lot of the super rare players have kind of been looking down and looking at the rares and the limiteds and being like, maybe I'll move back down to that scarcity, which is totally wrong. Like, that should not be the way the game works. You should want to push up to super rare, and I totally feel for those people that play super rare, because I'm a rare at best, although I'm kind of scaling down on that even as the season draws to the midway to 3/4 length period. And not once have I thought I'm going to get into super rares. Not once, because you're going against really, really good players who are going to they've got the money and they're going to pick out those cards really early. So if you go in, you're going to be up against people that have got very good collection bonuses, and the prize pools just aren't deep enough. And in terms of an ROI perspective, like limited, you're still going to... I'd rather build like 4 or 5 really good limited teams than one super rare team where if I get an injury, I'm screwed. And what am I going to do now? I've kind of messed it all up. So I do think they need to do more with super rare and unique, but I'm not really the best one to comment on what that should be or how bad the effect is. So in terms of what I play and what I think most of you guys will probably be playing is the limited and rare. I think the prize pools are really, really good. And if you do, like, you just have to get lucky once in one game week and bang, you've made your money back. And then you've still got the cards. Although classic may not be great, you've got the cards forever. So if you've got a young player, like, you're going to be able to keep playing those cards. So even if you can only play it in classic competitions next season, again, you still only need to hit once or twice, and you've done very well out of your initial outlay. So yeah, in terms of scarcities, I'm going to give them, in terms of what they've done with it, I'm going to give them I can only really give it a C. Me personally, I'd give it like a B or an A, but I have to look at the whole ecosystem, and I know for a fact that they could do more. So I'm going to go for a C overall in terms of how they've treated the scarcities. I wanted to cover Essence separate to boxes because boxes give you the essence, and we feel that you don't really get enough, which makes it quite grindy to get things up. But the principle of essence itself, I actually really like. I like the fact that I've got control rather than getting tier 5s or tier 4s like from cards, winning cards, which I always just like that they do nothing for me, especially in the new format. I liked that the essence, it gives you the opportunity to kind of work towards saving up to get whatever kind of level of card that you want. And it is quite exciting the fact that you could get a star even from 20 essence. Obviously we know that they kind of over egged that a little bit, and they've had to kind of change a few things on it, but I do like the principle of essence, and I do think that it does need a bit of tweaking in terms of the levels. I've talked about that previously, but overall I would give Essence a B. I think it's a gain for the game rather than a minus at this moment. So definitely worth a B. Let's see what they could do with it. Boxes were something they introduced around the start of the year, and it was quite a big change actually, because it meant that, well, actually, let's be honest, when they first came out, they were terrible. I think it was about like 90% of the contents of all the boxes was level ups.
Those boxes are bad news. Stay away.
And I know we were all sick and tired of getting those level ups. So the first iteration of the boxes, it was just level ups, or you might get a card. And when that first happened, it was kind of dull. Then they introduced Essence, which I'll cover separately. And when the essence was kind of dropped at the start of the season, we were getting loads of essence. We were getting still the occasional level up, but we're getting market credits. And what I really like about the boxes, I did like about the boxes, is that we were getting them like really, like 50% of people in season was getting a box, and at the start it did feel like a reward getting a box, not like a brilliant reward, but still I was quite excited to open, because you could get like 20-30 essence, and you're well on your way to crafting. And what they replaced was the like tier 4s and tier 5. A lot of those tier 5s that we would have been opening, instead we were getting boxes, which meant they could reward more people. The problem is that when they nerfed the boxes, that's when the excitement left. And now currently I know they're going to have to look at it again. Is there more they can add to the boxes? I am thinking about doing a video on what they could add to boxes, but at the moment I'm going to give boxes a C-. It started off poor, it went really good, they dragged it back down again, and where they are at the moment, I don't really get excited for opening boxes, if I'm being honest with you, and it's because of the content of the boxes, which is the essence. So I wanted to kind of cover that separately. So I hope they do more with the boxes. There's definitely potential there. Like I said, I will be covering it in another video in terms of what I think they should be doing with it. But yeah, it's still kind of an interesting thing to kind of open, but the odds of getting something good are very, very low now. So let's see what they can do with a revamp of the boxes in the future. So all in all, I think Sorare had a pretty good 2024. They implemented a whole new gameplay structure, which isn't easy to do. I'll give them a B overall. Let me know in the comments, how do you think they did? What should they be looking to do for the new year? And yeah, drop a like, please subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.